Hey there, fellow soil enthusiasts. If you've been following along with Soil Sensei, you know I'm absolutely passionate about building healthy, living soil that grows incredible crops naturally. Today, I want to share something that completely revolutionized my understanding of soil health: the incredible world of earthworms and their role as nature's ultimate soil engineers. When I first started my organic gardening journey 15 years ago, I'll be honest, I barely gave earthworms a second thought. Sure, I knew they were good for soil, but I had no idea just how transformative these humble creatures could be for my garden's success. Now, after years of working alongside these amazing invertebrates, I can confidently say that understanding and nurturing earthworm populations is one of the most powerful tools in any organic farmer's toolkit. Picture this. While you're sleeping soundly in your bed, millions of tiny engineers are working tirelessly beneath your feet, transforming your soil into a nutrient-rich paradise. That's exactly what's happening when you have a thriving earthworm population in your garden. These incredible creatures are processing organic matter, creating stable soil structure, and literally manufacturing plant-available nutrients 24/7. I remember the first time I truly grasped the scale of earthworm activity. I was digging in my compost-rich vegetable bed and counted over 40 earthworms in just 1 square foot of soil. Each of those worms can process their own body weight in organic matter every single day. When you multiply that across an entire garden, you're looking at a biological workforce that would put any human crew to shame. What makes earthworms so special isn't just their appetite. It's what happens to everything they consume. As organic matter passes through their digestive system, it gets broken down, mixed with calcium carbonate from their calciferous glands, and combined with beneficial microorganisms. The result? Worm castings that are, honestly, 5 times richer in nitrogen, 7 times richer in phosphorus, and 11 times richer in potassium than the surrounding soil. Now here's where many gardeners go wrong. They expect earthworms to thrive in poor soil conditions. But just like any living creature, earthworms have specific needs that must be met for them to flourish. The good news is that creating ideal earthworm habitat aligns perfectly with organic gardening principles. Moisture is absolutely critical. Earthworms breathe through their skin, which must stay moist for oxygen exchange to occur. In my experience, maintaining consistent soil moisture between 60 and 80% is the sweet spot. This doesn't mean waterlogged conditions. Earthworms will actually flee from oversaturated soil. Instead, think of that perfect soil texture that holds together when squeezed but crumbles easily when disturbed. Here's something that blew my mind when I first learned about it. Earthworms don't just eat organic matter, they're constantly ingesting soil particles too. As these particles move through their digestive system, they get coated with calcium and organic compounds that act like natural glue. When earthworms excrete these particles as castings, they create incredibly stable soil aggregates that resist erosion and create the perfect balance of air and water spaces. I've seen this transformation firsthand in my clay-heavy garden beds. Areas where I've encouraged earthworm activity have developed this beautiful, crumbly soil structure that holds moisture without becoming compacted. It's like having tiny construction crews working around the clock to build the perfect growing medium. The tunneling activity is equally impressive. Earthworm burrows create permanent channels that allow water to infiltrate deeply rather than running off the surface. These same channels provide pathways for plant roots to follow, essentially pre-drilling access routes to deeper soil layers. I've tracked tomato roots following earthworm channels down 3 feet or more in my garden beds. The beautiful thing about encouraging earthworms is that every technique that benefits them also improves your overall soil health. It's a perfect example of working with natural systems rather than against them. Reducing tillage has been one of the most impactful changes I've made. Every time you turn the soil, you're destroying earthworm burrows and potentially harming the worms themselves. I've transitioned to a no-till approach in most of my beds, using broad forks only when absolutely necessary to relieve compaction. The earthworm populations have responded dramatically to this gentler approach. Maintaining year-round soil cover is another game changer. Whether it's living cover crops, mulch, or crop residues, keeping soil covered provides both food and protection for earthworms. I've experimented with different mulching materials and found that aged straw, shredded leaves, and grass clippings create the most earthworm-friendly environments. The composting connection cannot be overstated. Regular additions of quality compost don't just feed earthworms. They introduce beneficial microorganisms that earthworms need for optimal digestion. I make it a point to add a 1-inch layer of compost to all my beds twice per year, and the earthworm response is always immediate and noticeable. How do you know if your earthworm management strategies are working? I've developed a simple monitoring system that any gardener can use. The most straightforward method is the classic shovel test. Dig up 1 square foot of soil to a depth of 8 inches and count the earthworms. In healthy organic soil, you should find at least 10 earthworms per square foot, with 20 or more indicating exceptional soil health. You know, the real magic happens when you start thinking of earthworms as integral partners in your growing system, rather than just beneficial side effects. I've learned to time my soil amendments and planting schedules around earthworm activity patterns. Heavy organic matter additions go down in the fall when earthworms are most active, allowing them the entire winter to process materials. I also consider earthworm needs when planning crop rotations. Perennial crops and cover crops that don't require frequent soil disturbance provide stable habitat for earthworm populations to establish and multiply. These areas then become earthworm nurseries that help populate adjacent annual beds. After years of working with earthworms, I'm convinced they're one of the most underutilized resources in organic agriculture. These remarkable creatures offer us a completely natural way to build soil fertility, improve structure, and create the foundation for abundant harvests. The best part? Everything that benefits earthworms also creates better growing conditions for our crops. The next time you're in your garden, just take a moment to appreciate the incredible biological activity happening beneath your feet. Every earthworm in your soil is working tirelessly to create better growing conditions for your plants, while requiring nothing more than the organic matter you were probably going to add anyway. Ready to transform your soil with nature's finest engineers? Start implementing these earthworm-friendly practices in your garden and watch your soil come alive. And remember, if you found this information valuable, hit that subscribe button and share this video with your fellow gardeners. Together, we're building a community of soil stewards who understand that healthy soil is the foundation of everything we grow.